Hi there, welcome back for another episode of Tunes and Tales. Today we're going to be taking a look at the tune Sarah Armstrong's tune. I found out that the month of March is Women's History Month, so it seems appropriate to bring you this tune collected from a woman fiddler in Pennsylvania. She was born in 1883 in Derry, Pennsylvania, and her name was Sarah Elizabeth Gray at the time. She came from a highly musical family. Her grandfather played fiddle, and he had 5 sons who all played a variety of instruments, and together they had a little band called the Gray Boys, which would go around playing at dances and various community events. And at age 5, Sarah started to pick up the fiddle herself, and coming from a musical family, I can just imagine she already had so much music in her mind and her head from hearing it from birth, I'm sure, that she really took to the instrument, and she learned from her uncle Laney, who was the best fiddler in the family. He was just the star fiddler. So she learned to play fiddle music from him. Unfortunately, in 1910, I heard that the Gray Boys did break up the band because Uncle Laney decided to go out west. He moved to the western part of the United States. And the rest of the family, it sounds like, would still occasionally get together for a dance, but he must have been kind of the driving force in the band. So Sarah, she then when was that? 1899, she married Charles Armstrong, and she became Sarah Armstrong. Sarah and Charles, they had a number of children. I think one of their sons played the banjo, and one of her daughters, I think, played piano. And she was, of course, excited to share with them her musical heritage and all that had been passed to her from her family and continue to carry it on. But the children lost interest in the music, and they would play occasionally with her while she played her fiddle, but they didn't really soak up that heritage, which is unfortunate. Much of Sarah's music has been lost because of that, and probably all of it would be lost if not for a man by the name of Samuel Bayard. Samuel Bayard was a professor at Pennsylvania State College, Penn State, and he loved collecting folk music. And he had an interesting way of doing it. Rather than using any kind of recording device available at that point in history, he would go and just listen to people playing folk music. He would go and find somebody way back in a holler or on top of a mountain that knew an old folk song or an old tune, and he'd listen to them singing or playing it, and he'd sit there and he would write out the music to it all. He'd just transcribe it on the spot. And so when he was visiting his uncle's farm one time, he heard about Sarah Armstrong, and he heard about her very musical family, and so he decided, all right, I'm going to go and visit her and see if she has folk music that I could collect. And he does. In November of 1943, I believe it was, he went to visit her, and he collected 4 of the tunes that she was playing that day, and apparently was so impressed with it because he came back again, also that same month, November 1943, and ended up collecting almost 40 pieces of music from her. Those went on to become the core of his book, which he produced in 1944, Hill Country Tunes, which was just a collection of folk music, and her music was the majority of what was put in there, the larger part. So it's wonderful that we have that transcription of her music, because never in her life, as far as anyone can tell, was she ever recorded. There's no way to hear how she played her music. So we have this sheet music, and we have done our best to learn these pieces of history, these tunes that she received from her family, and play them today. But we really don't know for sure if they're quite exactly how Sarah played them. So we do our best. I'm going to play for you now one of her tunes from that book, It's called Sarah Armstrong's Tune.